What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another challenge recap, Ride or Dies, episode 9, and today we shake up the game. So last week we saw Nelson had a really tough decision to make between either saving Fessy or Olivia in the draw. So we've got a best friend versus a girlfriend. He lets Olivia go in. Not surprisingly, they come back to the house and she forgives him immediately. Fessy talks about how he is grateful that Nelson saved him, but that he's tired of coming up short. He pretty much says that he feels like he could be a 2 to 3 time champion, but instead he's a 2 to 3 time loser. He goes on this entire rant about how he thinks that he is just as capable, if not more capable, than Jordan and Bananas. And then we see him crying to Mariah over the fact that he has never won a season. I have a lot to say about this. I don't think that you're as good as Jordan and Bananas. For one, you've only beat Jordan in an elimination where you pretty much needed 2 hands. For two, you went head-to-head with Johnny Bananas in a final and lost solely because you cannot eat. Multiple finals now, we've seen you go out because you cannot eat. That is a part of the challenge. It's been ingrained in the challenge for years. And if you want to talk about overall competitors, you're not there. Do I think that you are a great athlete? Sure. Later on in this episode, you actually impressed me with some more of your stuff. But to sit here and try to put yourself up here with 2 of the greatest people to ever play this game, it just doesn't sit right with me. And that's not taking anything away from the guy. I do think he's a great competitor. I think if he could get that eating down, he would be a huge threat. Nobody wants to go against the guy physically. Just he towers over everyone. But to sit here and cry about being a 2 to 3 time loser when you feel like you should have been a champ, I don't know. There's people. Corey, for example, has done 8, 9 seasons, never won, and he's come up short multiple times. And you don't see. Obviously, he wants to win. Nelson, the same thing. At least you're in the final. You are getting there. You're other people. I don't know. Anyway, we're not gonna stick on Fessy too much. Mariah does build him up here, and I feel like that's important in a partner. But I don't know. It was a weird scenario for me. We get a little bit of Johnny and Nany out by the pool, just kind of talking about how they've been able to fly under the radar this season, and how they actually feel like they're in a really good spot, despite Bananas' tumultuous relationships with people in the past. And then we get into a little bit of Tori and Jordan drama. We see the 2 of them wrestling around, and we're getting cut scenes of them in confessional while they're kind of rolling around on the ground, cuddling, whatever. And Tori says that she is completely open to rekindle this, while Jordan says that despite the comfortability that he feels and that they've been able to kind of get back to, that by no means means that they're going to be rekindling. Which, it's weird to see them on 2 completely opposite pages. I guess it's very easy to misread things, especially in a challenge house, I would say. You are very isolated from the rest of the world, so every little thing that you do is going to be taken a lot more than these little things that might happen outside the house. But we then see Nerese talking about how she is starting to develop feelings for Jordan. He's not her regular type, but at the same time, she doesn't want to hurt someone else's feelings in the house. Olivia, very blunt with her, gotta respect the way she went about it. Basically saying, that's not good for your game at all. I get it, but Tori's here. Tori's very competitive. She's probably going to be spiteful about this. Maybe not the best move. However, Jordan and Nerese now have a room to themselves. And when she comes back into the room, Jordan's in her bed. They very openly make out in bed. And it seems like it doesn't matter about Tori to Jordan. He's very open about the way he's feeling about the situation and how it's good to have somebody in this house. But we all know that's not going to end well. So we get into the daily. This is called All or Nothing, and it is a mini final. These are some of my favorite dailies to watch. There's just so much more to them. There's been a lot this season. I feel like have been very, very quick and very short, and they just kind of cater to different skills, which That's kind of what this is. But this is a 6-mile course with 3 different checkpoints that must have to be completed before you can move on. And the entire time that they're doing it, they're going to be hauling a heavy plank. So TJ brings back up the twist that he mentioned at the end of last episode, which honestly I'd completely forgotten about. But saying that they're going to have a big decision to be made, and you definitely want that power in your hands. So they all take off running, and the first checkpoint is going to use 3 barrels, and using those and your plank, you have to get from one end of this field to another, and if you touch the ground, you have to start over. Everyone is pretty much doing the same thing, kind of doing 2 barrels, plank across, move 1 barrel around, step forward, and then pull, and repeat. It's literally just a rinse and repeat. Well, Bananas and Nani decide to lay the barrels down, put the plank across them, and try to roll themselves across. Bananas takes it very graciously that this is not a good plan, that says that Nani doesn't know what he's doing, TJ doesn't know what he's doing, the cast and crew doesn't know what he's doing. So they touch the ground, got to start over. Jordan and Nisa finally catch up to the rest of the group. They were at the back of the pack, and then they start to make up some ground here at this checkpoint. Nerissa and Nelson are the first to cross. Once they get to the end, they have to grab 4 sandbags and carry them to the next checkpoint. So Fessy and Mariah are close behind. Then everyone else starts to file out, except for Jordan and Nisa, who have now touched the ground and have to restart as well. During this little sandbag transition, Olivia is struggling with the sandbag. She really wants to put it down. Horacio is wanting to push her, and she's just not having it. He's nervous that this means she's not going to be able to push through in the future. And as they start to fall behind, you can see him getting more and more upset. He says, whatever, you know what? I'm going to put my head down, not talk, and I'm just going to work. That doesn't really go well for Olivia. She talks about how they need communication. He's a man of few words, and she really doesn't know what the hell is going on here. So at the next checkpoint, you get to clip your sandbags to another team's sled to sabotage them. So Nelson and Nerissa get there first. They have none on their sled. So they can just pull their sled down to the other end after they dump their sandbags, and you start working on a puzzle. It's 4 blocks. It has 4 different shapes on them, and you have to get each shape on every side of the tower, basically. There can't be any repeats. So people just start running up, throwing sandbags on different teams, running across, and then they're building the fessel. They're building the puzzle. I'm saying fessel because Fessy and Mariah solved the puzzle in about 5 seconds. I was super impressed. Devin and Tori are behind them, and then Nelson and Reese finally finish, even though they were the first ones there. After you run part of the course, you then have to pick up 6 tires, which you'll then run to the next checkpoint. These tires all have different locations on them. Bananas and Nani are struggling on this puzzle. I mean, like, Jordan and Nisa have caught up and left. Everyone's caught up, and typically people will leave up their puzzles. Amber and Chauncey are the last team, and they knock their puzzle over purposefully just to leave Bananas and Nani their struggle with this puzzle. I was happy to see they were joking about it. He's talking about how they're going to get roasted. He's laying down saying he needs to come up with some brain juices. And they were very calm about it, just kind of joking like, we know we're not winning at this point. What does it matter? So once you get to the final checkpoint, you have to transfer your tires up and over a shipping container and then place them on a pole from south to north in terms of their location in the world. Would not fare very well here. I only really know of a couple of the locations on there. I didn't see all of them. Didn't really pay attention that much. But Fessy and Mariah surprisingly kill it. This is where I say I was very impressed with them. And I don't know if Mariah is just good at the puzzle and they put that together quick. But this one, she admitted she had nothing to do with. Fessy pulled this one all out on his own. So it was very impressive. And they end up getting the win on this daily. They stop everyone else on the course. It's pretty much done. The losers don't get punished in this season. So once there's a winner, it's kind of just over. Horacio just walks off, leaving Olivia there, all crying upset. Amber comes over to console her. And he tells the camera that he doesn't want to blow up, that this is what's best for him. And honestly, I got to agree. I would have been the same way. I would have been frustrated, especially like after we've been killing it all season. We've won 3 eliminations. Granted, we had help on 2, But like we're doing very well. We're socially well in this game. And now it's like there's a mini final and you are completely breaking out. That would have not sat very well with me. So I probably would have got mad too. And then it cuts back to Johnny and Nani. And he's pulling her around saying, does anyone know the way to the zone? So he's basically saying we're going in, whatever. Like we didn't win, whatever. So now it's time for the twist. TJ says we're going to switch it up a bit. The ride or die pairs are no more. Now you're going to split into 2 different teams. Fessy and Mariah will get to pick these teams, and you will all be opposite of your ride or dies. This immediately reminds me of Bloodlines. Older season where they kind of came in as pairs. They ended up getting split opposite sides of their bloodline. And I really hope that it doesn't turn out the way that season did. The way they did that season was where if your team lost, you had to vote someone in. And then, or that person would go in, and then you were always facing off 2 people on your team. But the problem was that if you went home, your bloodline was attached to you, they went home too. So it does make for like a messy game in terms of alliances and stuff. But I don't know. I don't like it. It's not really a fair way to play. But later on, we hear TJ say in the preview, if you don't have a partner, you can't be here. So I don't know if that necessarily means they're going to have the same partners at the end. They're obviously going to come back to pairs from the way that makes it seem. And also kind of the theme of the show. But are they going to have the same partner, or is it going to be open now to new partners? I don't know. It's all speculation. Let me know below what you think, and we'll kind of see. He gives them the night to think about it, says, I'll get your answers at the zone. So that night, while they're out, they're all just kind of reconciling and kind of like trying to strategize for how this twist is going to go. But like we said, we don't really know the way this is going to play out. TJ's only said, like, stack your teams because you don't want to lose an elimination. But Fessy says he has helped Mariah get this far, and now he feels like she's trying to build relationships just to have the stronger team. No shit, bro. Like, you're not on a team right now. So, obviously, she wants to make sure she has the best chance of advancing. It's just dumb. Like, for some reason, he feels like she's going to hand him all of the good players and just take the scraps. And obviously, that's not the way that it's going to go. Like, you still want to win. You're still here to compete. Like, it's not like she was just, yeah, I guess I'll go on the challenge. Like, she wants to be here, too. She's built relationships. She's been competing well. You both won this mini final. It would be very easy. We saw Horacio and Olivia break down because one person on the team wasn't working as hard, and she pushed it. She really did it, and she should be able to pick a team too. Back at the house, Tori finally sees Nerys and Jordan cuddling up. She's not happy about it, but Jordan says that he's not going to cut this off just because the way it makes Tori feel. That in this house, having someone is always good. And it kind of is what it is. So she goes out, talks to Devin. Amber kind of comes and chimes in for a little bit. But she's basically saying that hopefully she's done enough healing that this isn't going to be a bigger deal. And Devin agrees, but then he says it's only a matter of time before this volcano erupts. So we go to deliberation, and it's deciding of the teams. Fessy says the one person he 100% wants is Casey. She agrees, says, okay, then I'm going to take Jordan. You can have Anissa. Then they're kind of debating. Fessy says he's up in the air between Devin, Bananas, and obviously he'd like to work with Nelson, but the other two have more experience. And Mariah says that's not going to work. I want Johnny. And Fessy basically offers, if you give me Jordan, you can have Bananas. She's not budging. They kind of get into it. They start moving pieces around, and then she says, your team's a hell no. Flat out tells him, I don't know if I can trust you now. She says in a confessional she sees where everyone was saying that his true colors will come out. She finally sees it. And if the teams do eventually come back together, this is not going to fare well for them. So they end up having to scratch it, and they start all over. That's really all we see of the deliberation. And then the next morning, we see Jordan going to talk to Tori. She pretty much just blatantly asks him, and he says like that they don't have anything going on. That is the only part that really bothers me. I don't know why he lied about it, but she just said she didn't want to see it, and then she kind of blows up on him. He says that this is the exact reminder that he needed of why they aren't together, and I think that that's the end for all the hopes that those two are going to be together. But it's a challenge. We're probably only about halfway through the season, honestly. So we could still see some turnaround here. So we get to the zone. Fessy and Mariah are the only ones who are not suited up. At this point, I figured there wasn't going to be an elimination anyways, just based off of the time left in the show. I kind of hate that that's a thing, but obviously there's a time limit on this show. It's not like it could end whenever. TJ flips a coin to see who picks first, and Fessy wins that. He chooses Casey. Mariah goes Jordan, just like they did in the deliberation. Fessy then gets to choose Bananas. Mariah takes Amber. Very surprised by that pick. Fessy takes Nelson. Mariah takes Horacio. And then Fessy takes Tori. So I do think that Fessy has a very stacked squad, especially from a physical perspective and like a leadership perspective. But I think that could come to bite him in the ass. You can't have all leaders on your team and expect it to go well. They're all very big personalities. You got Bananas, Fessy himself, Nelson. You've got Tori. You've got all these people who are competitors and want to show up. And I just don't necessarily know how it's going to go. From the looks of it, Mariah's squad is definitely lighter. But I think they're actually more well-rounded. You have some good physical competitors in there. You've got a very smart team in there. And I don't know. I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm excited to see kind of the path that they take. I'm praying up that they don't take a Bloodlines approach. But either way, it's been a good season so far. And I really hope that this does not ruin it. So let me know what you think is going to come of this twist in the comments below. Let me know how you think the final is going to be ran, how you think eliminations are going to be done. Let me know whose team you think is better. Did Fessy make the right move by taking all of these physical threats? Or did Mariah make a more well-rounded team? And other than that, subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in a donut review on Tuesday. Peace.